Hi, everybody. Dan Illman here, taking a look at this Friday's Stronach 5 wagering sequence. It begins with race number 8 at Laurel Park. It has an approximate post time of 5:12. What's great about this week's Stronach 5 segment is we've got a carryover. Last week, nobody picked 5. The carryover going into this week, $96,906.44. And of course, the Stronach 5, a $1 minimum wager. It has a low 12% takeout rate. The first leg is going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It's a 12,500 claiming event, and I'm going to be leaning on 2 horses in this race, 1 closer and 1 speed horse. Let's begin with the closer, the number 4, the in-form War Stroll. This horse has raced twice this form cycle, sprinting over yielding ground, just missed in the first one at this level, hiked up to $16,000 last time out, and I like the run that this horse put at the end of the race down towards the inside. For a moment, Javion Toledo thought he could get to the outside, decided to stay in. I thought it was a good move, but this horse has some kick. The one concern is, looking at this race, there doesn't appear to be a ton of speed, so I also want to use the number 5, Delta Outlaw. And Delta Outlaw is just a really likable horse. He's 7 years old. He's banked over $250,000. And while he hasn't won on the turf, 2 starts back in his first race off the Hugh McMahon claim, he showed good pressing speed, and he just missed by a head at this level. They ran him on dirt at Timonium last time out. I don't really think that's his game. 2 turns going 6.5, but he showed good speed. Delta Outlaw is going to be in the thick of things turning into the stretch, and I would lean on him and the number 4 horse, War Stroll, in the first leg of this week's Stronach 5. We move down to Gulfstream Park for leg B. This is race number 7. It has an approximate post time of 5:25, and it is another turf sprint. This one for Florida-bred allowance horses, now winners of one other than, and I want to give the number 5, She's Such a Knockout, a chance in this race. She's Such a Knockout made her turf debut in her most recent start, and these progeny of Cantharos really excel sprinting on the turf. I expected She's Such a Knockout to run well, and she did at 13-1. She didn't break well, and it is imperative, as you know, in these turf sprints, you have to break running. She didn't break running, but she showed 2 moves. She rushed up into a mid-pack spot down towards the inside, eased 3 wide into the stretch, and came with a mild late run with a nice gallop out. I think there's something here for She's Such a Knockout, and she has shown that in the past, when she breaks out of the gate, she has got excellent early speed. I'm going to lean on her in leg B with a couple of backups. The 4 Tracy Ann's Legacy and the 6 Sugar Bolt both finished ahead of She's Such a Knockout in that August 15th race. They were involved in a big speed duel from the start. Tracy Ann's Legacy on the outside, Sugar Bolt down towards the rail. Sugar Bolt won the duel, lost the war when the closers came coming in the stretch. Usually I would want to give a horse like Sugar Bolt extra credit for that kind of trip, but looking at her form, she has now been the beaten favorite in 5 out of her last 6 races, and she's outside Tracy Ann's Legacy this time. I wonder if she's going to get an easy trip, again pushing Tracy Ann's Legacy. She's in form, her buyer speed figures on turf are solid. I would use her as a backup, along with Tracy Ann's Legacy, in case they both get away with easy fractions up front. Let's move out west for leg C of this week's Stronach 5 with that big carryover, yet another turf sprint, 5 on the turf, tough race. Starter $50,000 allowance for fillies and mares, several recent maiden winners in here, and I believe the key to this race is to whether the number 8, Gas Can do on the turf. She made her Northern California debut most recently after not doing much down in Southern California, and she seemed to love the atmosphere and the competition up here. She ran in a maiden 8, not a strong race, on the Tapeta. She showed big early speed. She never got out of a gallop, and she won by 7 lengths. I'm hoping that she just loves the competition up here. I believe that she can successfully transform her synthetic form to turf. I think she's going to show speed in this spot. It's obviously a tougher race. It's obviously a tougher pace situation, and she is going to have to prove that she can handle turf. But I think she's a horse that you need to use off that last race, a really good confidence booster. The 10X Tapa's Finest is a horse you also, I think, have to use trying turf for the first time. You look at this pedigree, by Temple City, out of a city zip mare, and This is the kind of filly that is just bred for turf. She is yet to be headed from 2 lifetime starts. Maybe she and the 8 gas can compromise each other on the front end, but I just have a feeling that AKTABANTAY's finest might be the speed of the speed. Not a bad thing to be, going 5 furlongs on the lawn. If those 2 horses battle themselves into the ground, you're going to want a horse coming from off the pace, and I think the 7 Waverly Way fits the bill, cutting back from a mile race for trainer Tim McCann. This horse has a lot of experience. This distance might be a bit short for her, but give her some pace and she's going to come running. She had a nice trip last time out going a mile. She eased out with a run in upper stretch and just flattened out. She's been given some time since that race. Again, this barn does good work off of the layoff. If you believe this pace collapses, consider Waverly Way as a backup. And when I mention backups, I mention using the ticket maker application available on DRF Bets and DRF.com, where you can weigh your opinions based on monetary amount wagered in this Stronach 5. Let's move on to the 4th leg of this Stronach 5. We're going to go back to Laurel, race number 9 in here as an approximate post time of 5:52, and it's a turf route. We're going a mile and a 16th in here, optional claiming event. This is a race where I had some trouble. You have, again, recent maiden winners coming in here that might be a little bit dressed up based off pace situations. And this is a race where I would urge folks to maybe spread a little bit. The 2 sweeping in cost $225,000 as a yearling, didn't do much running in her first 3 starts. Graham Motion basically said, I'm putting a price tag on you. If you get claimed, you get claimed. I don't care. He dropped her in for 25 last time out. She got a great pace situation, a great ride, and she just won with a 63 buyer, looking good in the stretch. Something tells me that this filly has a little bit of ability. This is the next logical step up. She was claimed by a low-profile barn, which ensures a good price. I have a feeling we still have yet to see the best from sweeping in. The question is, will she get another pace situation? But I liked what I saw in the stretch last time out. The number 7 in here is Shake D Moon, and the good news about Shake D Moon is she really has stepped forward since being switched to the turf. Her last 2 races have both been good. She's got good early speed. If you don't think there's a lot of pace in this race, she is the kind of horse that is going to be right there when the field swings into the stretch. She is a very dangerous contender in this spot. Moving on to the number 10 in here is Talaka. And Talaka is another one that just got a big pace setup last time out. And that helped Talaka's chances in getting through her maiden ranks. Now, things are obviously going to be a little bit more difficult as she steps up in class, but Talaka's the kind of filly that showed some run in the lane, and I think she's very dangerous in this spot. We'll complete this week's Stronach 5 series, an all-turf series, with yet another turf sprint. Leg E, race number 9 at Gulfstream Park. We're going 5 on the turf, a maiden special weight. And you guys know that I usually like experienced horses in races full of first-time starters. And I'm kind of going to go against the grain of my usual handicapping thinking here. The 2 Parlay Pete's had 2 runs on dirt, has shown speed both times, obviously has a little bit of ability, is going to try turf for the first time, and it's probably going to take a lot of money, not only in the win pool, but in the Stronach 5. I'm hoping I've smoked out a first-time starter of the 3 that I want to use in the Stronach 5. And we'll begin with the 1. Disturbing the Peace. And you look at this pedigree, Stormy Atlantic, the sire, does very, very well with turf runners and has done so for a long time. This dam has already foaled a stakes-winning turfer named Flashy Ways. And if you go deep in this family, you've got the Grade 1 United Nations winner Down the Aisle, who was just a good turf horse back in the day. Disturbing the Peace shows a steady string of workouts for the debut, and if he breaks, he can be forwardly placed from the inside. The 6 Et Indienne is a son of Summer Front who's gotten off to a slow start with his first-time starters, but he was a very good turf horse in his day. And this dam is a half to a stakes-placed turf runner named Seasoned. Going deep in this family, it is all turf. This one shows a couple of bullet workouts leading up to the debut. I think Et Indienne is sitting on go for his first start. The 4 Brother Reed is a horse that might want a little bit more distance. He's a son of Belmont Stakes winner Empire Maker, and is a half to the Grade 3 Stakes winner Belave, who probably did her best running between 7.5 furlongs and 1.16 miles. This dam was a graded stakes winner on the turf, however. Vladimir Serin has gotten 3 5-furlong workouts into this colt, and I just have a feeling that Brother Reed's class and turf ability is going to show through in the final leg of the Stronach 5, which is a very tough race to handicap. You're not going to have the tote board to look at. You're not going to have paddock appearances to analyze. It's going to be a fun race. It's going to be a fun sequence. Carry over into this week's Pick 5. All turf races, and it begins at Laurel Park with race number 8. Good luck.